The Karmic's downfall, a case of fraud, hush money, and a race against time. The pieces of the puzzle were finally coming together, and for the criminals involved, time was running out. A tangled web of wire fraud, insurance scams, altered documents, and even human sacrifices was about to be exposed. One person had all the answers, and that was enough to send shockwaves through an underground network of criminals, cult leaders, and corrupt officials. Someone was about to blow the whole operation wide open, and the guilty parties were terrified. The Karmic, who was running out of time, key players in the cover-up. Cassandra Lee, financial fraudster, mastermind. Shivana and Sam Whitlock, wire fraud experts. Willie Jane Crosby, insurance policy coordinator. Meredith, Wilhelmina and Jamie Adonis, money launderers. They had thought their scheme was airtight, a perfect crime built on layers of deception. They had filed false insurance policies. They had altered legal documents. They had orchestrated an entire plot to make it look like an accident. They even had offshore accounts ready for their escape. But one thing had gone terribly wrong. Someone figured it out. Now, the walls were closing in, and one by one, they were turning on each other. A case of life and death. Key discoveries. A fraudulent life insurance policy had been taken out. Wire fraud charges were pending. A fake stillbirth and an abortion were staged to cover up financial fraud. A secret offshore bank account was discovered. But the most shocking revelation, the Karmic group had attempted multiple sacrifices, using dark rituals, kitchen magic, and even feeding tainted food to an innocent child to drain their energy. This wasn't just a fraud case anymore, this was something much darker, and someone was about to pay the price. The hush money offer. Key players in the hush money operation. Tyler and Jake Jada, middlemen for the payout. Sylvia and Mariah Messiah, political fixers. Sasha Dimitri and Lizette Brooke, corporate cover-up specialists. Realizing that the case was unraveling, the criminals made one last desperate move. They tried to silence the one person who knew too much. They offered hush money. They made calls from burner phones. They set up fake social media accounts to send threats. They included CNA, a corrupt judge, a lawyer, a court clerk, doctors, nurses, teachers, insurance agents, bank tellers and clerks, hotel managers. But it was too late. The evidence was in place, and the authorities were closing in. The trap house and the cult connection. Key figures in the cult network. Francis Caldwell, cult leader, master manipulator. Mecca Richards, a cult specialist, document forger. Marcus Lanley, bank fraud architect. Blanca Zoe and Maya Hardy, cult enforcers. Beneath the financial fraud, beneath the identity theft, there was something even more disturbing. They had used blood sacrifices to secure their scams. They had staged fake accidents to claim insurance payouts. They had targeted innocent people for spiritual attacks. But now, their rituals were turning against them. The same darkness they had conjured was now devouring them from within. And the law was coming. I promise. The international escape plan a failure. Key discoveries. They had planned to flee the country. Wire fraud charges were filed. Their offshore accounts were frozen. Multiple names were now on the warrant list, but they never made it out. One by one, they were caught, some at the airport, some in hotels, some still trying to cover their tracks. Some other names that are part of this coven. We have Cassandra Lee, Shivana, Sam, Willie, Jane, Whitlock, Aaron, Rebecca Crosby, Meredith, Wilhelmina and Jamie, Adonis, Chapman, Tyler, Jake, Jada, Sylvia, Mariam, Messiah, Sasha, Dimitri, Lizette, Brooke, Saro, Blanca, Zoe, Maya and Hardy, Kelsey, Marlon, Brad, Roosevelt, Adams, Silva, Timothy, Christian, Patterson, Brunette, Kay Evans, Dean, and Brad. We have Donnie, Leigh, Arnold, Doug, Joanna, Francis, Bruce, Virgil, Audrey, Amir, Tiny, Moses, Mitch, Hannah and Armstrong, and still to date they haven't returned the stolen documents. About time, otherwise more names will be revealed. Their escape plan had collapsed before it even began. The final blow, prison sentences and a bloodline curse. Final revelation, you can't run from karma. They tried to silence the truth. They tried to erase the evidence. They tried to pay their way out. Those involved in blood sacrifices suffered extreme misfortunes. And the most ironic part, their entire bloodline was now cursed. Everything they had built was falling apart. Their great escape had turned into a prison sentence. Final verdicts, business fraud charges were confirmed. Wire fraud sentences were handed down. Hush money was traced back to illegal sources. But when karma comes, it does not take bribes. The case was solved by the very person they had tried to destroy, and justice was finally served.